Running of the Daytona 200 here for this season, but it is not time for Daytona Super Sport bikes to get out on the racetrack just yet, but it is time to kick off our second day of racing coverage here from the World Center of Racing. Time for Mission Super Hooligans race number 2. This is a 5-round, 10-race championship season. We kicked off the season yesterday with race number 1. Let's take a look at some of those highlights, Roger Hayden, from yesterday.
Yeah, race 1. What an exciting race we had yesterday with the number 1 plate starting on pole position there. Corey West, great start for him. They're going to lead him down into turn 1. Travis Wyman and Jake Lewis. Also great starts. The 3 Saddleman boys were out there early on with the lead, but Jake Lewis leads them up onto the banking for the first time. You see Dominic Doyle and Hayden Schultz. Cody Wyman, they had their own battle going on. Jake Lewis had an issue. Looked like shifting as the race went on, but at the front it was Corey West and Travis Wyman and James Rispoli also, who ended up losing a little bit of touch to the top 2 guys. But the last lap, the run to the flag, it was Corey West able to hang on, and now he's got 2 in a row at Daytona.
And if you're joining us here on this bonus coverage on YouTube, if you were not with us this morning for the warm-up session on MotoAmerica Live Plus, Corey West was able this morning to even better his lap time. Take a look at these race results. The number 1 plate taking home the first win of the season. Travis Wyman, his teammate, was right there behind him with James Rispoli finishing 3rd.
Yeah, and good ride for Cody Wyman and Jason Waters, his first top 5 in Super Hooligans.
Hawk Mazada having a great run with his first season, his first race with Strack Racing as well, being able to finish inside of the top 6. And you can see all of these riders getting up to speed on this sighting lap to come back around and find those grid positions. I'd like to welcome into the booth, Roland Sands has now joined us for this race call. Good morning, Roland.
How's it going, you guys? All right, we're here for our second round of Super Hooligan Racing. Bang-up show yesterday with Corey West taking the win, but you know, got some new competition today. Arch has got their stuff together this morning, and you never know what Corey Alexander might bring to the table on that air-cooled Arch. I was over there having conversations with them this morning, and they're excited to have a fully functional bike on the track and finally get some hot laps in this morning in practice.
Not everybody went out this morning in that warm-up session, but for Corey Alexander to be able to be inside of the top 10, given the weekend that they've had, the limited number of laps that they've had on that bike, it's pretty impressive, and it's going to be great to see what he can do now in the race.
Absolutely. It's kind of a little bit chillier today. Not quite as much track temperature, and yeah, this is an early one. When you're racing this early at Daytona, you know, having to squeeze the 200 in, these guys got up, got to practice this morning, and an hour later they're on bikes racing. So yeah, we're gonna get this one knocked out.
And for the teams, for the crews, that, you know, everybody that's putting these bikes together, yes, we talk about a lot about the riders, they get all the glory, but I mean, you think about that compressed time frame this morning between warm-up and getting ready for the race. Kyle Wyman Racing didn't go out there. A lot of the teams did, and they had to turn those bikes around. They had to remount some tires. There was a lot of work to thrash just to get out there on the grid. Yeah,
it's a little bit of a, you know, it's a risk actually to go out and practice when you have this small of a gap in between practice and racing. So, you know, the Mission Foods Super Hooligan guys are going to put it together and put on a good show here at Daytona for the fans and for everyone out there watching television. You know, this is it. This is the show, Daytona. We're here. We made it. These guys have made it. They've qualified. They're ready to rip.
As everybody gets ready and finds their grid positions, Roland, after watching the first race of the season yesterday and all of the hard work that's gone on the last, not just to get ready for this season, but the last several years and the growth of this series, after watching race 1 yesterday, what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, I think that, you know, the Harleys are definitely showing they're definitely showing their strength this weekend, and they've shown that they've done a lot of development. They've also, you know, been out there on the racetrack quite a bit. We have an absence of the Indians this year, which is a bit of a bum out, but at the same time, we're seeing the progress of some other bikes as well. We're seeing the Yamahas improve. We've got new Triumphs on the track, new KTMs as well. KTM launched a brand new bike that's not quite ready, and we have some bikes that are on the cusp of being in this series that aren't quite ready for production yet, or just about here in production, but we're going to see more and more motorcycles that are going to be the right fit for this class as we move forward.
9 different manufacturers, as you mentioned, here for this 2025 season. We have another member of our broadcast team down on pit lane. Welcome in, Steve English.
Thanks, Jamie. Just down here at the front row of the grid. And yesterday's race, we were able to see Corey West up against Travis Wyman. In the morning warm-up, Wyman was saying that he was making a big change to the bike to try and find a little bit more in terms of his top speed after yesterday hitting that rev limiter through the end of the lap at the end of this race. So we'll see if he's been able to make a step for this one.
That's what they were working on during that morning warm-up session, even though it is a risk to be able to go out when there is that compressed time frame before you get ready for racing. For some of these teams, it was crucial to be able to get out there. Corey Alexander there on that number 23 Arch Racing bike. He was one of the ones we've already talked about needing those laps this morning.
And the Arch is a very unique motorcycle that is out here on the grid. This is pretty much a hand-built bike. You know, the series, we've got predominantly water-cooled bikes in the series, and now we have a competitive air-cooled bike. And good to see the Arch out there and the guys at Arch kicking ass and getting that bike ready to race.
All right, warm-up lap now underway. Looks like everybody was able to leave their grid positions. They'll come around and find them again.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com. And by Harley-Davidson and the championship-winning Pan America.
There is no other racetrack on the calendar like Daytona International Speedway. Roger, take us around.
And this is a big track for these Super Hooligan bikes down into turn 1. A little bit slower through the infield part of the track. 2, 3, 4 flows really well into the second horseshoe, turn 5. Then you see turn 6, such an important corner to get a run out of there all the way down into the chicane. And this is where the race is usually decided in this class. That run out of chicane to 11 and 12 is wide open through there as you head toward the tri-oval at Daytona.
A lot of questions about that new chicane that was changed. That's not a new chicane, but a changed chicane from when we were here last year. But here in Super Hooligans, these bikes continuing to develop. It did not slow anything down. Take a look at our starting grid. Same as yesterday for race 1. Corey West, our pole sitter, joined by Travis Wyman and Jake Lewis on that front row.
Then we got Hayden Schultz, Dominic Doyle, and James Rispoli.
Cody Wyman, Jason Waters, and Andy DeBrino.
And on row 4, we've got Hawk Mazada, Corey Alexander, and Josh Baird.
Then we got Matthew Pataka, Cole King, and Andrew Wade.
Derek Stodel, Travis Carr, and Andrew Berkeley.
Going back to row number 7, August Knorr, Jeff Lane, and Derek Delanoche.
We got Danny Dominguez, Rodney Vest, and Dylan Wall.
25th on the grid is Bobby Betancourt. Joseph Katzenberg going to round it out with Sean Morris.
27 riders set to take the green flag here. We had 54 riders on the entry list coming into this weekend, Roland.
Yeah, it was a heavy entry list. You know, not everyone did show up to race, but almost everybody did. And you know, we have a 112% cutoff here. A lot of these guys, it was their first time on this racetrack, and some of them didn't actually make the race. It's difficult to send people home, but at the same time, when you have the closing speeds at a track like Daytona, which could be as much as 30, 40 miles an hour on the banking, you know, we got to put safety first in some of these situations, and that's the tough part about going racing. Not everybody qualifies.
Saw the weather conditions there at the top of the screen. 74 degrees with the sun now coming out. That humidity is up just a little bit. See the officials out on the racetrack. A few moments ago, we saw one rider on the siding lap have an issue. Andy DeBrino, we've been told was perhaps that rider, but I did just see that number 62 plate out on the grid.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that that's who that was. We see a good look there at Dominic Doyle. Head down, you see the lights, top of your screen, they're out. We are racing race number 2 here at Daytona.
Another good start for Corey West there on pole. Jake Lewis able to follow in right there. Looks like a carbon copy of yesterday. The 3 Saddleman boys out front. James Rispoli, good start for him. Already worked his way into 4th as they exit turn 1.
Yeah, the Saddleman boys got it figured out this weekend for sure. I mean, you got that many riders going this quick. It's, well, we got somebody run off there in the International Horseshoe, but the Saddleman guys are showing their class for sure.
It looked like maybe Hawk Mazada that ran off there, and that first horseshoes. You see Corey Alexander on the arch bike there, working his way almost already up into the top 5.
Yeah, Corey is in 7th place. I mean, that's a hell of a start. I think he started back in 9th.
There's Corey Alexander.
What a different look from yesterday. Corey was sitting on the outside of turn, or the inside of turn 3, watching these guys go around yesterday with a broken main shaft. They had a clutch problem yesterday, so this is where the Arch boys wanted to be. They were looking for a top 10 finish this weekend, and they're slotted in a position to potentially accomplish that.
And this is going to be huge for them to get out with other bikes and see where they need to improve. You know, a brand new bike, custom built. They don't know where their weakness is or their strength.
Yeah, this is brand new action. I don't know if Corey's even had the opportunity to get in the draft this weekend. They probably don't even know what the top speed is. The gearing could potentially be off as well, because as you know, when you get in the draft, you're going to pick up 6, 7, 8 mile an hour, Roger.
Yeah, especially here with the big battle like this at the front, when you get 4-rider battle, that draft is just going to make you come there even quicker. We see Jake Lewis now trying to make a move. Travis Wyman, looks like the gearing change overnight working well for him so far today.
And he said it after that race yesterday. He didn't want to be leading through the first 5 laps. He wanted to be able to take the lead right at the end going into the checkers, but looks like he might be working on a similar strategy today, but right now he's got a few more riders in front of him that weren't there yesterday.
You also got Dominic Doyle back there in 5th place. We got our first Yamaha in the mix with the Harley-Davidsons, and you know, this is really where the class is going to start to show its balancing. We're looking at guys like Dominic to show the advance of the Yamaha. This FC09 power plant is fully capable of running with these Harleys, but certainly going to take some development. You've got some teams that have put a tremendous amount of effort, money, energy into these Harley-Davidsons, both the Wymans and with the Salomon team. They're showing their class, but you can see Dominic making some progress.
Well, you can play MotoAmerica for cash in Superbikes, Baggers, and Super Sports Series. They're now live on top sportsbooks and DFS platforms. Just scan that flow code or visit nxtbets.com/PlayMA to see what's available in your location. You can sign up, claim exclusive bonuses, and make your picks now. That is going to be for later on this afternoon, so go ahead and get logged in.
Wow, look at this pack. We've got 6 riders smashed together coming into turn 1, and this is what Daytona's all about.
This is a much different race than we've seen yesterday. We've seen the top 2 really kind of break away the group. Now you got 6 riders. Cody Wyman was really fast last year in the races, and he's made huge improvements overnight.
Yeah, you got to wonder. Corey West kind of ran away with it yesterday, and you know, did the other guys make these improvements? Has it been drastic improvements? Is the track change different? Something definitely evened things out a bit over the night.
Yeah, Corey West had it was only a .04 difference at the stripe between Corey and himself and his teammate Travis Wyman yesterday, but Corey led that one flag to flag.
Corey West still finding himself leading this thing going into turn 1. He's a crafty guy, you know. We've seen he's got so much experience at this racetrack. It's hard to bet against him.
Corey West smacked the track record this morning as well with a 50.5. He was 3 seconds clearer than the rest of the pack. You can see right now he really has his head down this time as they go into turn 5, trying to break that draft where he doesn't get caught up in this battle with these guys.
It's not just horsepower for Corey either. I mean, he's running really fast first sector times, and you can see him pulling a little gap on the infield. If you're able to do that, that's the way that you can potentially get away from this pack. But when you got 5, 6 guys together that close, the amount of draft the guys behind you are getting is just impressive, and you know, they could suck up on you pretty quick.
Corey Alexander, after qualifying 11th, has been able to move himself up inside of the top 10, now sitting in 7th. You saw that shot just a few moments ago of the whole Arch Racing team watching on for the first time this weekend as they're able to enjoy all of the fruits of their labors and actually get out there and race.
And we talk about the first sector, the infield part of that track. Actually, Corey Alexander has the first split, the best split in the whole race right there. So that Arch bike is really working well in the infield.
Take a look at the top speeds right now on his Super Hooligan bikes. Cody Wyman, 171.5 miles an hour. That's not even at the end of the front straightaway. The speed trap is right before start finish.
That is just impressive. 171 miles per hour around this place with no body work. I mean, this guy's got some arms on him, you know what I mean?
Go back up to the front. You see number 1 of Corey West. He's got Jake Lewis right behind him.
Travis Wyman in third, trying to make up a little bit of that gap on the infield. We'll see how it plays out right now. I mean, Jake's in the spot he wants to be if he wants to win this thing. He's following the guy, Corey West, who's shown and been the class of the weekend.
See Hayden Schultz there right behind Corey Alexander on the number 23.
You know, Corey, I mean, having that first sector time, the fastest first sector time with as few laps as he's had around this place, this arch that's something special. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. You got Corey, he's got this place dialed. He's got, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 laps around this place.
I think it just shows them that, you know, a little bit of top speed, you know, where they're kind of down. They got the handling working really well.
Yep.
But just get a little bit more horsepower. But you never know until you can put the bike on the dyno and do all this testing all you want. But you never know until you get out on track with the rest of the guys.
Dominic Doyle just showing his fastest first sector time with a 57.9. That's impressive as well.
He was kind of losing touch with these top 5 guys, so he really needed a good infield sector. Corey pulled a little bit bigger gap the previous lap, and now it looks like the top 3, when we get to that start-finish line, they're going to be pretty close.
To the 34 of Cody Wyman, the 43, James Rispoli, these 2 teammates out together right now, currently in 4th and 5th. Cody finished 4th in the race yesterday as well. James Rispoli, though, was up there in the podium position. He was up in 3rd.
Yeah, had to feel good for him. He didn't get a lot of time on the bike this weekend, so to finish on the podium yesterday, you know, had to feel pretty good.
Different race completely for Jake Lewis. He was frustrated after yesterday and not being able to get the result that he wanted. And he knows how quick that bike is because he watched as his teammate Corey West was able to win the race and reset the track record several times this weekend, and Jake's wanting some of that glory himself.
Yeah, in the first day here on the practice sessions, Jake was not able to pass his teammate on the banking either the first session or the second one on Friday afternoon. So whatever that team has did since then, Jake's bike is running a lot better on the banking.
Jason Waters, I just looked out the window, saw that number 92 down on pit lane. So his day is done here in race number 2, and that's unfortunate because he had a good run yesterday.
Dominic Doyle with the fastest lap of the race of 51.2 on the Yamaha. The Yamaha starting to show some progress here as we see Corey West come back underneath Jake Lewis on the banking. I got to imagine Corey West is doing his best to set himself up right now, and he's thinking about what position he wants to put himself in to try and come across the start-finish on the last lap in first place.
And that lap for Dominic Doyle is a racetrack record. Yesterday, Travis Wyman had it at a 51.5, so lowering that record, and you can see what it's doing. It's brought him back to this lead group.
A little bit cooler temperatures, Jake Lewis.
Wow. That was tight up against the wall. I know that is full pucker factor right there when you got everybody so close. Look at that. The 34 and the 85 just about banging bars across the tri-oval.
White flag is out.
It is anybody's race at this point.
You can see as they're coming across the stripe how bad this front group wants it. With 3.5 miles to go, who's it going to be?
And we got Cody Wyman for the first time slotting himself into second place right behind Corey West.
He's been on the tail end of this group the whole race, and now when it counts, Cody's did a great job getting himself where he needs to be. Corey West looking back, sees a huge group. What does he do from here, Roland? Does he try to lead from the front, or does he want to try to be the guy that's going to drive?
I mean, unless he's going to slam on the brakes here, he might try and make a run for it, but I think everybody's going to put their best efforts together on the infield to stay as tight as possible to Corey. I don't see him getting away at all. You got a slight gap, but not much of a gap. This is anybody's race at this point. There you go.
Travis Wyman looking to the inside.
Corey might hope one of these guys drive by him heading into the chicane so he's not leading out.
Travis sat behind Corey West for the 6 laps yesterday, ultimately didn't have enough able to get around him here on this final lap, but is he going to be able to hold it all the way through? Corey West now taking the pressure from Cody Wyman.
I mean, we are 5 wide coming into the chicane. Corey's not, I don't think, at this point in the spot he wants to be. But now we got Travis Wyman leading the thing for the first time. We'll see if he's in the spot.
Look at the Yamaha there in third.
Dominic Doyle certainly not giving up the fight.
Corey West coming around the outside with a draft. They are as tight as you can be. Wow! Dominic Doyle's trying to slot himself in.
But here comes Jake Lewis.
Oh, he got it.
Wow! Jake Lewis
At the line,
across
Jake
the
Lewis.
stripe at the line. Incredible finish.
That team has did a great job getting that a lot quicker than Friday.
What an incredible finish. I couldn't even tell who was where. I'm still confused.
We talk about the draft so much all weekend, and that's why we talk about it so much. You can see what happens. I mean, Jake was the last man in the pack out of the chicane.
You had all 5 of those riders when they crossed the stripe separated by under 200ths of a second there. So what a great finish there for those top 5.
Was Jake in 6th?
He was the last man in that pack.
He was the last man in that pack. I mean, you can't really plan for that type of thing. You do not want to be in 6th place.
I bet that draft, when it came and, you know, when those guys spread it out, it really opened a spot for Jake to come through.
What a phenomenal finish. I mean, you know, it's great to see the Yamahas pulling and Dominic Doyle get in the mix, but what a finish.
See, Jake's not even in the shot right now.
Travis Wyman at this point not feeling the pressure behind him, but there comes Jake Lewis.
I mean, that was a slingshot. Incredible finish.
See that photo finish, and watching it back and forth in slow-mo, it doesn't get any further apart.
That's got to feel so good for Jake.
Real-time replay, right when it matters.
That's got to feel so good for Jake. I mean, Jake, you know, he didn't make podium yesterday, so this is a huge one for him. You got Corey Alexander in the grass, but the first air-cooled bike of the weekend, his first finish of the weekend, he's 7th, just outside of the top 6, which was such an incredible battle. The Arch guy's got to be stoked. Don't know why he's sitting in the grass. Maybe he's celebrating.
I think maybe something happened on the bike on the cool-off lap, but you look at Corey's lap time, 53.4. That's really respectable for the first race.
Great lap progression for Jake Lewis as he comes around to celebrate this victory.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com. And by Harley-Davidson and the championship-winning Pan America.
What a phenomenal into the weekend here for the Mission Super Hooligans. I want to thank Roland Sands for joining us in the booth. He's going to make his way down there to the podium area to celebrate as well. You take a look at our top 3 finishers for the 2nd day in a row. Travis Wyman there in 2nd place, and Corey West able to still finish on the top, on the box, but not at that top spot like you wanted.
Yeah, not the top spot, but the Saddleman guys sweeping the podium 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Corey always wants to win, but also, you know, he wants to think about the long game. He's able to collect a lot of points there. Put yourself on the podium all week, all year, and then when the points matter toward the end of the year, you're going to find yourself toward the top. But Jake Lewis, what a great job they did from the first day to today, where he was having trouble drafting guys on the banking, and then today he comes from 6th all the way to 1st. So he had that bike running amazing.
Great sounds of celebration.
You almost had it. Good job.
The competitors out on the racetrack, Roger, but when it's all said and done, they are teammates.
Yeah, you know, they're happy for each other, and they know how much each rider puts into this. You know, they do the same thing, and they want to see somebody else get that joy too. Travis Wyman, he's going to be the one with a little bit of heartbreak leaving this weekend, being that close to winning both races at Daytona. But if Travis keeps riding like he did this weekend, those wins will come throughout the year.
Good job.
Good job, you guys. It was good racing.
As everyone gets ready and into their positions here at the podium, Roger, let's take a look at the full results here from race number 2.
Yeah, we see Jake Lewis there with the win, Travis Wyman, Corey West rounding out the podium, then Cody Wyman, James Raspoti, Dominic Doyle had a shot to win it there in 6th, and then Corey Alexander, Hayden Schultz, Andy DeBrino, another top 10 for him, but Hawk Mazada, way to fight back through the pack, made that mistake down into turn 3 on that first lap, fought his way back inside the top 10.
You can see there was a bit of a gap there between the top 6 that we watched there on that last lap and then the rest of the field. But again, no other racetrack on the schedule like here at Daytona International Speedway. The next time that we see these riders out will be at Road Atlanta in May. So a little bit of time to get some work done. You see JD Beach down there coming to watch the podium celebrations as well. Let's go ahead and get down to the podium with Steve English.
Down here with our winner of the Mission Super Hooligan Race 2 here at Daytona International Speedway, and Jake Lewis, talk us through that last lap, coming from what, P6 on the way down into the last corner?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was a badass race. You know, that's how hooligan racing's supposed to be. Yesterday, there was big gaps in between everybody, but today I think, yeah, there were 6 of us in that pack, and I was trying to lead it through the infield, second through the infield, but then, you know, the draft on these bikes is so huge, and coming to the white flag, Cody came by me and gave me a little elbow, so I was like, all right, I'm going to play my cards right. I know how important the draft is on these bikes, but I damn sure didn't want to be in 6 in that chicane on the last lap, but I was like, I'm going to get as small as I can, and I hit my shifts perfect, and they went 3 wide coming out of 4, and I mean, the draft on these things is unreal. Like, the bike started shaking, and then I pulled out to the left, and Travis was right there, and it was just a perfect draft. And as you can tell, I'm a little bit hoarse. I was yelling on the cool-down lap. This is the first ever time I've won at Daytona, so it's badass, especially with my fiance here. My mom and sister were able to make it to Daytona for the first time in a while, and my guys, Maddie and Ricky, have busted their ass on this bike for me yesterday. We should have been up here on the boxes as well, but today is what matters. I'm glad to get out of here with some good points and go to some real rider tracks coming up for us. And a big thank you to Bell Helmets, Forest R Leathers, Foo Sport Boots, Mission Foods, everyone on the Saddleman Race Development Team, Maddie, Ricky, Eric on my suspension. You know, it's a whole team effort, so thank you guys.
Well done, Jake. Great effort. Obviously enough of 1, 2, 3 there for the Saddleman team, and we'll just get Travis Wyman now as well. And Travis, for you, it's another 2nd place finish, but good start to the season here at Daytona.
Man, we're gonna get one of these eventually. I can feel it. We're on strong this year. We got a Saddleman lockout on the podium, Harley-Davidson Pan Americas, first time for that. So Dave, this one's for you. Alex, hopefully I didn't get your heart rate up too much, buddy. That was a hell of a race, and hats off to my crew chief, Bo, Eric, my suspension tech, the whole Saddleman racing team for putting a badass Harley-Davidson Pan America under me this weekend. And man, I thought I had that one. Corey and Jake sat up going into 6, and I had no choice but to lead it. Nobody came by me in the bus stop, so I got a little weird coming down the banking, trying to break the draft, and old Peanut came around the outside of me in the tri-oval, and hats off to him and Corey for a great ride, and man, it feels good to be back here in Victory Lane.
Great job this weekend, Travis.
Thank you. Dude, one sec. I got to thank Alpine Stars, Bill Mola Helmets, Mission Foods, Motul, Klingler Thrillers, all my sponsors that supported me this year, and all my friends and family back home. Thank you.
Great job. Obviously, as we heard from Travis there, didn't want to lead into that end of the lap, but for Corey West, Corey, we were able to see a race win yesterday, podium here. It's a good start to the season for you as well, but for the Saddleman team, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2 yesterday, doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the Saddleman guys have been rooting for the whole year, and last year was to get the podium lockout. So we did it in race 2 today, which was pretty awesome. The Harley Pan Americas are just running awesome here at Daytona. Big shout out to my crew, man. We found something this morning, but looked like everyone else just kind of got their toe strap out and held on. So it's tough leading here at the front, you know. I need mirrors on this thing. You don't know what's going on back there, but I could tell it was a bigger pack today. And so heading to the chicane on the last lap, I was like, I don't want to lead it today. This is going to get gnarly. And Travis come by me, and I was like, I think I'm in a good spot. And then people just went bonsai into the chicane. So I thought I still had something for the run to the stripe, but I kind of got pinched. Me and Raspoli were banging elbows all the way down the front straightaway at like 160-something. So It was high bar banging action, but it was awesome. I had a great time out there. It's great to have a 1-3 to start the year, and we'll do what we can to hang on to this #1 plate. And just big shout out to all of our supporters, Mission Foods, Motul, Pig Trail Harley, by Tubo, just Jack Specialties, everyone. And shout out to Dave back home, man. Wish you were here.
Yeah, great job, Corey. Great job by all of our riders here for the top 3, Jamie.
Yeah, congratulations to the top 3. I love that. It's bar banging at its best. That's what Mission Super Hooligans Racing is all about, Roger. 6 laps, but the highlights way more than that.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the best races you will ever see here. The battle at the front, Corey West, the Saddleman guys, and also with the Yamaha on there, Dominic Doyle. You see Corey gets a great start. There's Jake Lewis as well. You're going to see Hawk Mazzata there, about 10th bike in the screen, going to get real hot. See, blows off the track, but the battle at the front from the very beginning was just a 6-rider battle with James Foley in there as well. Cody Wyman also. Seemed like every rider kind of took their turn at the front, and every time somebody looked like they might kind of break away like Corey did about mid-race, the draft. We heard all these riders talk about that draft. You see Jake there also making a move. Early on, they were just swapping positions. Looked like the top 3 had a little bit of a gap early on, and then they get back on the banking. Jake Lewis real close to the wall, a little bit closer than I think he would have liked, but here as the race winds down, everybody's just trying to figure out where they want to be. Cody Wyman moves over a spot, but Jake Lewis, talk about playing the draft perfectly, able to get the run to the line. Travis Wyman thought he had it, ended up second. Just such a good race. 6 riders going to the stripe. I mean, that's all you can ask for in a race.
And the rider that finished the 6th, Dominic Doyle, also getting the honors of resetting that race lap record with his 151.2 here today. After 2 races, the first 2 of 10 here in this national championship. Here's a look at the championship standings. Corey West with 41 points, leading over his teammate by just 1, Travis Wyman, and then Jake Lewis there in 3rd, 9 points back.
Yep, close already.
Every point matters here. The celebrations, these teams have certainly earned it. Congratulations to our top 3. We're going to step away. We'll be back with SC Project Twins Cup.
Introducing Spectro Performance Oil's heavy-duty product line. Engineered not just for performance, but for endurance. Spectro offers leading engine, transmission, and brake fluid products, which are proudly made in the USA since 1966. Performance, reliability, quality, and tradition. Because every ride should feel as smooth as the first. Spectro Performance Oils.
What we do here at Arai Helmets is actually, in racing services, is a piece that we use for our research and development. There's not many places where we can actually use video to confirm how a rider crashes. We can't use video on a street to see how a cheek pad works. And when you do it in a laboratory, you don't get the same conditions you're going to get when you're out in the actual air and the wind and everything. You can try to use other devices, but you'll never replicate the real world scenario. So that's where racing services really becomes very important. It's all about the research and development. You know, I talk to Mr. Arai every Thursday night, and we discuss everything that we've seen from the races. It doesn't matter if it's IndyCar or MotoAmerica, we discuss everything that went on and what all the riders' feedback was, because they want to know exactly what the riders are feeling. But you know, one of the biggest parts of research and development when it comes to the helmet, of course, is the helmet's #1 job, which is protection. So critically important to Arai is that round smooth shell. Because what happens is the helmet comes down and it bounces and glances and burns off that impact energy instead of transferring it to the rider's head, which is really important to us. So the glancing is something that we've seen from all the videos and all the riders that we've seen, unfortunately, go down. But it helps us when we're out here to see that video and go, okay, well, the rider went down like this, he hit this portion of it, and this is what happened to the helmet. So we can take and put the entire story together. Because if you have just one part of the story, well, from the video you can't really tell where the helmet's been hit or how bad the helmet's been hit. So that's so important, and that's the one big thing that we found through all our years doing this. Rider protection is number one.